Alright, hey, so this is Vinecast number 2. This is going to be covering E3. I'm here with Jin, Steady Guy, and Yol.
Hey.
I'm Rev. How are y'all doing?
Doing alright.
Hi.
Doing great.
Based on what was said last time, I'm going to try and keep this a little bit shorter, because about an hour seems to be what people were asking for. So we'll just see where it goes. Honestly, no promises, because I'm horrible like that. Anyway, E3 obviously happened this week. There's a lot of different stuff that happened. Does anyone want to start us off?
I want to start off by saying, there's a Metalocalypse quote. That's the Pickles the drummer. Murder faces a birthday, and Pickles goes, "Hey douchebag, we got your favorite thing, disappointment." And Study said this earlier, but you know, plenty of that on E3.
Yeah, yeah,
There's
plenty
quite
of
a
that.
bit, but I mean, you know, there was a lot of stuff to look forward to. But I mean, if we're gonna be rolling into E3, might as well actually roll into the way it was scheduled.
Yeah, I like this option. So, Halo.
I think it's more Microsoft in general, right?
Right. I guess this is like Microsoft, but yeah, whatever. It's mostly E3 or EA, isn't it?
You know, I feel that this is less of a analysis than an actual, like, you know what this feels like? It feels like the E3 autopsy. Like, we're just examining the body, the corpse of video games right now, and we're just wondering what killed it.
Well,
What stabbed it in the face?
Microsoft definitely was involved.
Yeah.
Here, before anything else, what have we decided on? Is X-Bone the thing?
What do you mean?
Like the name? Because you know.
Oh, the
we have,
name?
like,
I'm probably gonna call it.
I don't call it X-Bone. I don't call it X-Bone. I call it X-Done. It sucks.
It's
probably
god-awful.
gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so fucking bad that Xbox is gonna be. This is my use theory, but they're gonna drop out of the console market after this because their economy, like the loss of money this generation that the Xbox One is gonna do, is gonna be so like big that they'll never recover from this. They'll have to stick through either PC, make games, or either just, you know, make a super different console just to appeal to just casual people, which are what they're doing, but
Well,
I have no idea, man.
I think we can definitely get into that in a minute, but I kind of disagree, honestly.
Yeah.
As
I do
bizarre
too.
as that sounds,
Yeah.
I do. Let's talk about the games that are there, the exclusives, and then let's get into that, because that is something that needs to be talked about. We talked about the consoles themselves last time, and yeah. So let's see. In order on this list here, this is a list from IGN talking about the E3 press conferences. Halo, I couldn't really give
Well,
any
I mean,
shits.
it's Master Chief in a cloak in the desert.
Yeah, I think people were excited that they're like, oh, look, new IP. It's a dude in a cloak, and there's robots. It's Master Chief.
I don't know. I mean, it's a big IP.
It is.
What I thought, honestly, going into it was they were going to present something like, you know, one of the biggest IPs you all know and love, now free to play, or let's say, if the Xbox One, you know, released with, say, Halo as a free, you know, add-in, just something big.
Yeah.
So if you remember, like, you know, the N64 and all those older consoles, they came with like Mario 64, and then you get this big, you know, well-known franchise for free. It's a big deal for some people. Maybe not everyone likes first-person shooters, and maybe not everyone likes Halo, but there's a damn.
But you know,
lot
I'd
of
play a
people.
game that was free. You know, I've got a game that came with the Xbox that I touched. I didn't really care about too much, but I played it, and I probably wouldn't have otherwise.
What was that, like Fusion Frenzy?
It was
what
like
even
I
came?
think it was tennis and some sort of racing game or something. It's just not something
Oh,
I.
that's right.
Speaking about terrible games. Peggle 2!
Wasn't it Virtual Tennis and like that?
Oh my
Sega
god,
GT?
that it was so fucking awesome. It was just so pathetic. It was hilarious. Because it's just like, dude's like, Peggle 2! And jumps into the air and fist pumps. And it's like, uh-huh.
I didn't know if they were going for, like, you know, ironic humor, but it seemed like totally legit. They were
yeah.
like, here's Peggle 2, enthusiasm, and then he just walks off stage, and it's just like, you know.
Yeah, I don't even.
Well, that PopGap game was, announced there. I don't think it's exclusive, but that got a good reception, didn't it? The, what was it, Plants vs. Zombies? Garden Warfare?
That looks like some, like, Call of Duty knockoff. I don't know what that is.
Dude, I think that's fun. I like Plants vs. Zombies, but then again, it's like this weird amalgam of, like, third person or whatever it is, first
Yeah,
person.
I don't know what... That's just weird to me. I'm not really sure what to think of that. But let's try and get on track. So, going from the top of the list going down, Halo, don't care about. Titanfall, probably the only thing I'm excited about. Honestly, it's exclusive to... basically,
it was PC and
right.
Xbox One. That's gonna be so difficult now.
Yeah, isn't it? But I'm gonna get it on the PC. I'm not touching an Xbox. Like, nah. That looks cool. It's like a mech combat. It's like all of my favorite things. It involves mechs and stealth fighting and climbing giant like robots and trying to kill them. That's fucking cool.
It reminds me of Mech Warrior.
Yeah, it's like Mech Warrior plus Shadows of the Colossus. That's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah,
I love that idea. I'd totally play that. But yeah, no, I'm not getting an X-Bone for it. Killer Instinct.
I
Not
heard the
okay.
demo version is like you get a character for free, or the thing is the whole thing is free on the demo version, but you have to pay for the rest of the characters.
Yeah, it's DLC characters. You get one character for free. The game is free itself, but you have to down... I shit you not, this is a thing. Also, it's not made by the original developers. It's made by this company that made, like, cheap movie knockoff games. Like, I think they made Green Lantern, and they made... What else did they make? They're not known for making good games.
I'll tell you what they did. They made shit, because let me tell you something. Killer Instinct looks like a Street Fighter 4 knockoff. I hate to say it, but when I saw it, I just thought, oh my god, it's just the art style, just the fluid of the combat. It honestly looks like...
Yeah, very similar.
I was never a huge Killer Instinct fan, honestly. I was never a huge fighter person either.
Neither was I at the time.
Well, I am a huge Tekken nerd, but
yeah.
Generally I only stick to Tekken. Honestly, I don't really explore outside it. But
well, I mean, let's look back though. I mean, initially Killer Instinct was... I don't know if you remember watching the actual E3 stream. The big thing was that, like, Rare's going to present this new game. It's going to be super exciting. This franchise that everyone loves. And everyone's, like, bated breath, waiting to see what it is. And then, like, you see Geoff Keighley, like, this is it. This is the Rare game everyone's been waiting for. And it's, like, Connect Sports 2 or wherever the fuck it was. And you go, fucking Rare. Like, what have you doing? Like, what have you been doing? Right. Everyone's all saying, like, Banjo-Kazooie, what is it, like 3 now, or Killer Instinct, all this other shit. But no, we get Connect Sports, and meanwhile, Killer Instinct is being developed by God knows who.
I forget who it is. I probably should have looked that up real quick.
But no, it's really sad.
Yeah, it's a horrible... It's not going to be good. Not that I was
it's
very
like
much...
Double Helix.
I mean, like, Double Helix, yeah. Let's look at their track record real quick.
Well, you have Silent Hill Homecoming is the first one I remember from them personally, and then it was Front Mission Evolved. That's literally it. So that tells you their track record.
Yeah, they're not known for good games, so that's probably gonna suck. Especially because of the whole DLC characters thing. I mean, I don't know how much they're charging for the characters. If it ends up being $60 after you buy everyone...
I just want to say something that's related to this, but in Sweden we had, during the early 2000s, now this is a thing that never took off, and it's virtually unheard of outside of Sweden, but in the early 2000s we had the new fad in fighting games, and we had a game called Imp or something. And the thing about it, the whole shtick, the whole selling thing was that every fighter in this game was packed on a single disc. so you could actually buy your fighters.
Yeah.
And this thing flopped like it was a just I hate to say the word epic, but wow, they pumped so much Swedish money into this. It was described as the next Pokemon, man, but it just fell flat on its face and nobody bought it. But fun thing to look back on, because I think it's gonna happen the same way, because I want a fighting game. I want all of the characters. Sure, I want secret characters and all that,
Right.
but buying them with actual money, fuck that. You know.
Yeah.
I think the bigger issue is that they recently confirmed that only 21 countries are actually getting the Xbox One with live support initially when it rolls out. So I mean,
And
let's say,
the important bit about that is you have to be able to connect to the internet once per day. If your country, if your place is not supported, you literally can buy an Xbone, but you can't use it.
yeah. So let's say Killer Instinct is amazing and you'll want to get it. Fortunately,
Well, Sweden is
Sweden's
covered.
on that list. Let's say he wasn't, on that list.
If I lived in Japan,
I
There
think
you go.
if I lived in Japan,
I know
If Yol
Slovakia is
was a
not
Swedish
covered.
guy in Japan, he's screwed.
Slovakia
Oh,
is not
hello.
covered. Brazil, Portugal.
Here, I
God.
have the list. If you
Yeah,
want me to go down
there is
the
a
list.
If you want to go and
It's
do that.
Australia, Austria, Belgium, Brazil, Canada, Denmark, Finland, France, Germany, Iceland,
wait
or
a
sorry,
minute.
Ireland.
Finland,
Finland.
they're supported or not supported?
They're
They're
not supported.
No,
Oh my,
they are.
seriously?
I'm going by support.
Oh, those are the supported ones.
Oh, okay. Because, wow.
I was gonna say there was
Yeah,
some.
no, but
large
like half the
problems.
European Union is not covered.
Yeah, but anyways, here: Ireland, Italy, Mexico, Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Russia, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, United Kingdom, and the U.S. of course.
That's
So,
it.
Yeah.
Outside, no, that's it. That is it. So if you're outside of that circle, you are boned.
Yeah,
I might say X-boned.
that really didn't need that. Oh yeah. It's just, oh god, it's so. So okay, let's go on to the other games that are talked about. Metal Gear Solid 5, Phantom Pain. A couple of
That's
different
not
things about that.
exclusive, but yeah.
It's not an exclusive, despite what the PR guy said. He actually tweeted out when it was being announced that it was an Xbone exclusive, and then later went back on it. That tweet is still up. You can go find that.
I think that was Major Nelson who had.
Yeah,
had
Major
mentioned-
Nelson. Yeah, he said it's Xbox One exclusive.
I recall specifically
JK.
hearing like Kojima coming out, or at least seeing him on stage, like real, kind of offhand, like, "Hey, this is it. It's coming," and that's it. Like that's all he actually mentioned about it. It's. I heard prior to that Microsoft was paying a number of developers to not even mention the exclusivity rights, but you can see it. I
It's
mean,
very, very unclear about what is and is not. We are able to know now, but
I love the fact that the Xbox One is doing so poorly in terms of like press that people are actually buying PS4s out of spite.
I don't know if it's
That's-
so much out of spite, but you go back to that mentality of like, hey, you've grown up trading games with your friends. You've grown up like, being able to watch your friend play this and going, hey, after you're done with that, like, swap that for me. I'll give you this game, and we'll, you get that much of a richer experience. That's like history for consoles. When you lose that out, I mean, it's an inevitability, I think.
and you know
Like
what's-
eventually we're gonna get to a point where it's gonna stop altogether. But I mean, right now,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But the thing is, like, it's so bizarre because chances are, before this generation, this new one that's coming up, before this next generation is done, there's a high chance that we won't even be using disc anymore. We'll be just downloading stuff. Why
no,
would you
definitely.
even give a shit about people pirating some discs? The amount of bad press you're getting hurts you more than the number of people who will be able to pirate it or get secondhand sales. It's just not worth it. You losing money by... Why? Why would you do that? It's just like, no, it's not going to be a thing. And the thing is, for years it's been that way for like PC users, like Steam. I can't give you a game that I've got. I've already played it,
Yeah, no, I can imagine that. Yeah, And then the future, though, like I said, though, I mean, we're gonna get to that point where everything is very much like Steam. If you remember initially, Steam just being this service that nobody wanted to actually deal with, nobody liked this shit. It was terrible to start out, but I mean, you know, it got better. The only problem was you come from a point where, like, you know, Valve itself has gained that trust. They didn't start off from this point where they're already high and mighty, like the Xbox is. It's starting. I guess there was this article that mentioned, you know, this is a
Hello?
And then study was dead.
Okay, well, that was a good point, but he died.
Yeah.
I just want to say, but before study died, I think is definitely correct.
Oh.
I hate the fact that, you know, the Xbox is just doing so bad right now, and yeah, definitely the whole sharing thing. It's true. It's true. And Steam, for example, I think, yeah, it started off really, really bad. For example, when Steam started, the
Hey.
Friends. Yeah, you died there for a minute, but I'm just continuing on what you said. The Friends thing in Steam originally didn't work, and it was an inside joke between me and my friends that, you know, Steam, you want to talk to your friends, well, you just take a couple of years, and it did. It was really that bad, but once they really started, you know, going, they really, you know, got their shit together, and it really, really established itself as a good platform for PC games, because as much as I, you know, loved buying PC games prior to Steam, they were pretty expensive. And Steam, I kind of exploit it, but the dollar is weaker than the Swedish krona. And I get so much benefit from that. I get so much economical value out of it, because, like, $40 in, you know, in Swedish krona is basically like 330 or something. And I just get so much more buying on Steam than I do in an actual retail store. And, for example, if the Xbox One does this, it means that I'll have to always resort to what they're selling online, because, yeah, I don't know, I still buy on the Xbox Live Marketplace, the full games, but generally I think Steam as a platform for games have done really well for PC gaming. Almost
it's come a long way.
Yeah, it was bad, like you were saying, but it's gotten better.
Right, but like I said, I mean, the main issue was Valve came from this point where it's essentially, you know, it has no real popularity. It came from this point where it has a lot to prove, and it definitely proved that, you know, what it had. I mean, it gained the trust of, you know, maybe you don't like Steam for whatever reason, but I mean, it definitely has those deals that everybody loves. It definitely has the kind of support, at least on the back end, from customer service that I've gotten personally.
Right.
You know, I don't know, anecdotal evidence isn't always great, but I mean, everyone I've talked to, everything I've done on it has been great. But the problem, I think, that Microsoft is seeing that, you know, they're not coming from that point. Everybody knows what Microsoft is about. Everybody knows what's really happening on the back end. There's a lot of mudslinging, in my opinion, going from developers, or sorry, I should say publishers, and Microsoft saying, you know, we didn't actually force this DRM on people. The publishers forced it on us. And then yet you have EA and everyone else coming back saying, you know, we're fine with used game sales. We're fine with the way it is. We're fine with the status quo.
To be specific on how it works is that you can, I think, at least with is it just the PS4?
It's just the Xbox One, is it? No,
because the PS4 has, I think the PS4 as well has a thing where there will be no DRM. Okay, excuse me. I think it was something that was pushed by some companies for sure, just because that is something that was necessary to prevent stuff like EB Games and Game in Europe and you know, GameStop in America, just to cut out that middleman, because you do lose some sales. But the thing is that I heard a report once that said that the majority of your sales are happening in the first 4 weeks. Right. If you can get back the money you spent on it in the first 4 weeks, if you can keep them playing for 4 weeks, it doesn't matter, because everyone wants to get it soon, and they don't have a long enough attention span to wait more than a month. And so the sales that you're going to get after that point doesn't really matter. So if they do bring it back, it's fine. So that you have to make it so that way there's enough content that you would continue to play the game for basically a month.
I don't know if it's so much content. It's just like, a game has to have a long enough tail to entice people to even come back. I think the reason that, DLC had such a meteoric rise that it's just, hey, that is partially, I'm sure it's cutting out the used sales, but if you remember way back when, before we had expansion packs where, these developers sink in all this money into all this content, and it's all brought in at once, people loved it back then because, hey, it's not just, this bite-sized bit that you're sold, dollar per dollar after a bit, but it's this whole new game almost in many cases. But you have to imagine the fact that, hey, like a $40 expansion is a hell of a lot less inviting than, say, like a $5 DLC that's good for almost as, a dollar per hour. Maybe it's only 5 hours, but those are, 5 hours well worth.
Yeah. And like on that point, I remember getting Frozen Throne for Warcraft 3. That was such a good value. I spent, I don't know, probably $70 between the main game and the expansion, something like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
By the way, speaking about Steam, I think Steam, especially, Valve in general, they're fucking great at putting prices on things. The Orange Box, such a good idea. That sold so many copies because, well, you got all these amazing games, Team Fortress 2, Portal, Half-Life,
But
all
Portal
this stuff.
came in as a complete, they threw that in there because they thought it was the only way that anyone would get it. And then it became a thing that they actually care about, and they're like, oh, cool, people are buying the Orange Box for Portal, let's make Portal 2. That's literally the development process that went on there. It was just a throwaway thing. They were like, here's a little indie developer, we'll go ahead and absorb them because we like what they're doing, and it went great.
I want to say this too. The worst example of DLC I would say is I actually streamed Saints Row 3 and I stopped because that game was so badly polished. It felt like a cash grab.
Oh yeah.
Let me tell you something, because Saints Row 3 allegedly at the start of it said it had, years of DLC or something like that, and whatever, it kind of suffered the same fate as Team Fortress 2, unfortunately. It's just like
Hats.
all these stupid outfits. Yeah, hats, example. Like, who cares? I want more gameplay. And what's the most ironic thing about this? Saints Row 4, that is actually talked about on E3, was originally planned as DLC.
Right.
But they figured, why not? Let's make it a full game instead. So if you look at Saints Row 4, it's the same engine as 3, but it's like, it's more neon and it has superpowers and it's more stupid. Because the original Saints Row had this, kind of, wangsta attitude, It was basically San Andreas, but more wide. And it was kind of serious at times. But nowadays, it's just like you flung dildos at people. It's just this total cartoon world.
Right.
But that doesn't make it funny. And I think Saints Row 2 was the best one because it straddled the line between ridiculous and a serious world. And what makes it funny is that if you had a dildo in Saints Row 2 and you smacked someone with it, you would get like a realistic, reaction out of people on the street. Now it's just like, if you hit somebody, they make a fart noise. It's like the entire series
Lowest
is
common
just
denominator
shit.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think the effect of THQ just dropping out of the whole circle of developers probably had a good part of it. If you remember, the Saints Row 2 or Saints Row franchise itself wasn't the only one affected. It was like Darksiders, if I recall correctly, Metro, which was one of the
but it was
biggest
pretty
ones
much
out.
done.
It
It was pretty
you
much
had
done in
THQ
development.
dropping in all these huge franchises and games that were supposed to be released under THQ all drop at once, and you have to figure they all scrambled to make it work. How's THQ going to stay afloat? They clearly didn't, unfortunately.
And then EA got the rights to what was it? Star Wars Battlefront. I think that was unrelated, but that could. If you liked some of the Battlefront games that EA made, Battlefield stuff. I guess that could be good, but I don't know. They're gonna make it way too serious, and that's gonna be a problem.
No, I don't know. I like DICE as far as what they do with Battlefield in many regards. I'm not too fond of Origins and EA's whole back end, but I mean, DICE could make it work. I don't know. I mean, of all people, it was a good pickup.
I just want to comment on this because I'm Swedish, but if you compare my accent to some of the Swedish people on stage on E3, it's fucking horrendous because I don't know why, but they pick the worst fucking people to speak. It's just like they almost talk like the Swedish chef, like they go on stage just like Battlefield 4, hingy dingy durgy durgin. It's like, goddamn, what are you saying? God, just enunciate words. Because I was laughing like an idiot because for a Swede like me, I can totally like understand that they're trying, but they just lack the skill to speak. And yeah, I was having a fucking riot at my home laughing at that. But
while we're talking about accents, we should probably mention The Witcher 3 because that was shown at Microsoft. And if you look at the interviews following that, since they're all Polish, my God, some of those accents.
So anyway, Metal Gear, right?
Yeah.
Trying to keep this on track because we're about halfway in and we have gone through like none of them. So Metal Gear Solid, that I actually got chills watching. That was cool.
That was definitely cool. Yeah.
Kiefer Sutherland, I hate pronouncing his name because I always pronounce it wrong. Weird as hell choice for Snake. I don't know as if I like that, but I love 24. It was a good action movie-esque thing on TV.
You made the sounds for that game.
I did. I did make the sounds for that
Rev,
game.
let's not forget, even a greater game.
Yes. But I don't know. I've never played any Metal Gear game. Truth be
I think
told.
it speaks volumes of the fact that they got someone like him to actually play, a video game voice. I mean, if you remember way back when, before any of, Microsoft and Sony and everyone else recognized, or sorry, I should say the mainstream in general recognized video games. You had like, what was it? Oh God, I'm blanking now. What's the voice actor for Snake? Before?
Oh fuck!
I'm blanking. Why am I blanking?
I do not know, man. I'm sorry.
Of course,
I don't know either.
Everybody knows his voice. God, what is it? Hater, David Hater.
Yeah.
That was a big deal. At least I think so. For me, I mean, I liked some of his stuff way back when.
Whatever people say, it's gonna suck that David Hayter's not in, but Snake for me is still Autocod.
Yeah, for sure.
It's such a classic voice for him. But honestly, I hate to say this, but if they want to refresh things, start new, and I mean, it's no longer Snake. Think of that. Yeah, I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3 had Big Boss. This is still Big Boss. And I honestly think he should have a different voice. Because it's not Solid Snake, it's Big Boss. And I don't know, even though they're clones, they should still have different voices because,
Spoilers, by the way.
Really?
If you haven't played a game that came out, God, is it like half a decade ago now?
Like 97, 98?
I know, I'm just saying. Anyway.
Like, for example, Liquid Solid, brother,
Yeah. But yeah, let's see. Then we got to Sony's press conference. Kingdom Hearts, I've never played it. I don't like any sort of JRPG. I'm sorry. I don't like JRPGs. I barely.
We're not gonna kill you over it. It's okay.
Hello, Jen. It's good to see you're not dead.
It's a big deal, though.
I'm not dead. I don't have a lot to say about the Xbox titles because not that I don't care, but I don't have a lot to say about Microsoft shit. I don't care about Halo. I'm not going to be purchasing an Xbox, so it's just kind of taking a back seat to this. Also, I didn't see E3, so again,
I think it's
don't.
Good to have you here, though.
Titanfall, you should probably check out. That looks fucking cool.
Here,
I did hear good things about Titanfall, and I haven't played Shadow of the Colossus. However,
you need to.
I do.
I will. Once I get some money, I'll freaking send you that game. That game is so good.
I definitely would like to play.
I think you can honestly emulate it.
One thing about the actual Xbox before we move on to Sony, because we're talking about a company who has a massive amount of money behind them. So I have to imagine, they've looked at whatever data they have on their back end. They have this wedge of like demographics that they say, hey, you know, if we market it in such a way, we're gonna hit this, you know, whatever perspective, you know, we have on this. We're gonna hit this cash that we want to pick up. This demographic will buy it regardless of whether we have this DRM. We're gonna be able to like pick up on this soccer mom or this 12-year-old kid or this bro dude. They have.
I hate to say
It's
this.
the frat boy. I think that's what they're selling to.
I hate to say this, but there's always gonna be stupid people. And
I don't
stupid
think it's so
people.
much stupid. It's just that's the market. It's the mainstream. We're all really informed as far as, you know.
We're actually not the
games
key
can do.
demographic anymore.
We're not.
We're not.
We're not, and so
No.
these things suck for us.
Yeah.
So whatever wedge they're looking at, I mean, it's clearly profitable enough that they can completely alienate whatever market they were looking at prior and still say, hey, we're gonna make good on this, and we're gonna be able to like get away
part
with
of the
whatever
reason
we're
why
doing.
I don't think that the Xbox One is dead. As
That's
much as
kinda
people
what-
say it is, I don't think it's gonna die.
Right, I don't either. I'm not particularly fond
It's not
of
gonna
just
die
saying
because the
one's
thing
going
that's
down.
keeping it alive, the thing that's keeping the Xbox alive, you know, the one, is, I said it before, you might disagree with me, but stupid sheeple that has no idea what a video game console or, you know, honestly, I think the biggest selling point of the Xbox One to the general public is, like, I hate to say it, but the TV aspect. People are gonna be like, I can watch TV, you know,
But the thing
even though
is-
they've got a TV.
But
And
TV subscriptions have been down. There are record lows. People are not using TVs anymore. The TV is dying. It's going the same way the radio went. No one cares about it anymore. Why would you
More
make a
curious
thing?
to see
It seems
what it
like
does in
it
Europe.
seems like Microsoft is living about, I don't know, 5 years ago. And all of these decisions would be very smart if they had done this 5 years ago. Because a thing that integrates your entire entertainment system with your TV so you don't have to have that stuff, that would have been great 5 years ago. You know, that would have been great to have it so you could do that stuff with your TV, call with people with Skype. You know, you can play games and all this stuff. But the thing is, it's 2013, and we don't want those things. I mean, there's a lot of TVs you can get now that are cheap enough to do that, and no one uses a freaking TV. Like,
I don't know about that. I don't know if anyone here does, but I'm sure they're looking at some people who definitely do. Like I said,
it's
I mean,
people who watch-
we're all real down and out on it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people, and I mean a lot of people.
I think
who are
it's
still
funny.
looking
I
at it
think
like,
it's funny the way we're actually debating this, because all things we're talking about are like negative things, and it's like all these things just combine into a big ball of fuck in terms of money for Microsoft. It's like all these problems we bring up just add to a general like snowball effect that the big ball of problems are just tumbling down right now, and it's like once the thing is released, the shit is gonna hit the fan. Like all these problems, you know, DRM on the games, you know, you got that. You gotta have, by the way, one minimal connection of 1.5 megabits to be online. If you fail that, you're not gonna validate your games. So you gotta have a good internet connection. Now I have 100 megabits, but think of the people that
Goddamn.
don't.
I don't think you need to have. I don't think that's.
Apparently, that was confirmed. It's 1.5 megabytes.
It's 1.5.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know. You still have to have an internet connection. I mean, I live on a sub, so I don't have the option to have that great of an internet connection.
Yep, Google Fiber coming to you, don't you?
I'm being facetious. That was the dumbest thing for him to say. That whole comment about, well, we've got a system for if you don't have the access to the internet. It's called the 360, and
You
it's
know what I
like,
say to you know what I say to that? You know what, dickhead? I have a console that's called the Nintendo 64 and it kicks ass.
yeah.
God damn it,
Oh,
it's way
yeah.
better than your shit.
I would rather play it than an Xbone.
I think the main issue with Microsoft is more than like all their really shitty policies is the fact that clearly there was some level of like education on the console that the executives had to hit. They had to have known what was going on. They had to have known. I mean, they clearly know that there was going to be some backlash, but the fact that they weren't on the same page really speaks volumes of what the fuck like their involvement with all this goes. Because if Matrick is on talking about, you know, not being able to connect online, you can still pick up a 360. That's not a quote you want on any box or on
That's
any
just
magazine.
horrible PR.
It's terrible PR, and yet you have the Xbox support on Twitter saying all these different things, and you have Major Nelson on this other Twitter saying all these different things. If you can't get your message on the on the same page the way like Sony did. They made bullet points. It was terrible. Like, what are you doing? It's simple things that people want to hear. Despite the fact that there's DRM, despite the fact that there's all this other nonsense, if you can lay it out in a way that's easily readable, easily determined, I mean, you make a lot less trouble for yourself down in the way, you know? Like, the internet sucks. It's a big place, and there's a lot of people scrutinizing what you're doing. If you're all over the place, you're just setting yourself up for more problems.
I mean, but the thing is, let's look at the exclusives that the Xbox is talking about. They've got Dead Rising 3, which looks like shit.
Honestly, I want to lay my thoughts into this. The Dead Rising 3 preview was pretty ass. And I actually read an article that downright literally they said this, but they want the Call of Duty audience.
And it shows. It's very brown and bloom.
Let me tell you something, because Dead Rising for me, the original when I streamed it, the whole selling point of that game is because it's so fucking silly and colorful. You got the smallest zombies, you can throw a pie at them, you know, smash a guitar over their head, you know, just use a shopping cart and just like dress up as a little girl and just like all these ridiculous things. You think you can do it in Dead Rising 3, you'll be fucking wrong, I can guarantee you that.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of that, but it's going to be hidden underneath all this real edgy, real like grimy, or sorry, I should say grimy, like you know, story that they're trying to push forward instead of what was successful before, which is like you mentioned, all that silly nonsense. It's a zombie game. You're riding motorcycles and you're like chopping zombies in half with like what is it, while wearing a dress, one of those servo bot helmets.
So then you got, let's see. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think we need to get back on topic and
I
keep
know,
rolling.
that's probably a good point. All right, so
Sony.
Sony, Kingdom Hearts, not a huge fan.
You know what I gotta say about that?
What?
Let me take a long drag on my cigarette.
Well, we're kind of running short on time, so
We don't have time for this show.
I hate Kingdom Hearts so much.
Guys,
Final Fantasy
Sony, you know,
15?
experience.
It's an okay game. I played the first one. It was alright. It's not like the best thing in the entire world like a lot of people think it is, but it's okay. Again, I didn't watch E3, so I don't know what's going on with the new
looks
ones.
alright.
Let's say you came into not knowing what was going on, Jen, and you really like Kingdom Hearts. It hasn't come out for at least the mainline series. What is it now? Like almost a fucking decade?
Something like that, yeah.
It's been quite a while. I mean, if they
on the
announced
PS2
that,
last, right?
yeah, it's been a while. They've announced that, and they announced 15. Now, granted, they are not exclusive, but they didn't mention that. And people associate Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts exclusively with Sony. I think that was a big thing. I mean, we're gonna come out when the release happens, and we're gonna see Xbox One on a bunch of boxes. But I mean, what are people really looking at? They're probably looking at Sony, and I think it looked pretty good.
Infamous Second Son. Didn't play the game. Don't really have an opinion of Infamous at all.
I gotta say about this, is that the game with the guy that looked so sad during Microsoft's initial conference? The guy that protested or whatever? Yeah. I think that's the guy. He's bald, and he looks on the audience like his family is dead, and his house burned down, and he has no money. It's just... that game is... I don't know, I never played the series, but... I think it looks okay, but I won't buy it.
Yeah. I think the whole powers thing, like, have you guys played the other Infamouses? I'm losing.
No.
Sorry, I've been drinking this whole time.
Yeah, because that was good. We're trying to be professional, and then you're talking about, oh yeah, I just threw some Bacardi in because I was running out of Coke.
So I think it was a good idea to drink, because all of this shit, it's better just to forget about it.
Though, Infamous, visually, for a presentation, I mean, I'm not too big on the whole playing Nirvana. I think when we were watching with Vinny, like, he, like, left at that time. It was like Nirvana was at the very end of that trailer. He was just like, oh, fuck this. But no, it looked cool. I mean, the whole powers jumping into, I guess, it's vents. He's, like, part smoke or whatever, at least for his initial powers. And he can, like, shoot up into the air through vents. It looks cool. It literally is just that, though. We're at E3. It's like a retail thing. We gotta look at, the big picture. There's a bunch of, like, hardcore players who are watching. And it's like, hey, if it looks cool, we're probably gonna play it. We're probably gonna pick it up. I think they did a good job on that one.
They've got, let's see, what was next on this list of ours? Killzone. I don't know how that's still going. I don't know what it's about.
The fact that it was only like 5 minutes, if that.
Killzone was initially the Halo killer. I remember this. The PR for the original Killzone was Halo's dead. You know, this stupid like wannabe shit, and I think it still shows. Killzone wants to be its own franchise so bad. It wanted to be. It really wants to like put its name into the, you know, history of video games, and it just fails because it's so generic. It's basically shoot gun, apocalypse, future. It's who gives a shit? It's like I've seen this a million times. The only thing that the new games with each installment does is like better graphics. It's like, what? Are there any characters in this game? Is there any plot going on? The only plot in that game seems to be bullet hits face, blood splurts. It's like, all right, fine. If you want to shoot, if you want to buy that, go ahead. But you know, I like my FPSs with a little bit of story, you know, Half-Life. But yeah, just totally uninteresting for me.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
No.
Yeah, I think the failing of it is it's just too generic. Much in the way that what was it, Resistance was.
Yeah.
But I think the bigger story is that what is it, Insomniac Games, the maker of Resistance, jumped ship. They aren't with Sony anymore, apparently, or at least if they are, they aren't doing anything with them at the moment. That's Resistance, you know. That was the big flagship for Sony last time. Now I guess it's just Killzone.
Well, then there's this thing. Is this an exclusive? I believe it is. The Order, 1886.
The Order is apparently exclusive.
That
yes.
looks pretty cool. It's
Steampunk?
It's a steampunk game in 1886.
Ooh.
It's a shooter. It's third person. They say that it's a bunch of different. It's quote, the Order does not rely on a single tone. It delivers different gameplay experience in combat situations in the campaign, which is story-driven and linearly. Okay, so it's a linear third-person shooter, but it's in a setting that we haven't really seen since. God, there's this one steampunk cowboy game that I was going to stream a while back that did horribly. This kind of looks cool. I mean, I'm appreciative that it's not a. It's a new IP. It's not a fucking just another one of those military guy shoot stuff. Although
the only thing I care about in that game is what are you fighting? If it's vampires, werewolves, yeah, now we're talking because we don't get enough werewolf games.
I'm not so concerned about that. I'm more interested in the fact that that whole game, apparently at least that trailer, was all in-engine. I listened to some other podcasts with those same guys, the developers for, and apparently that is literally what it's going to look like in-engine. I mean, it's like if, you know, you're playing Left 4 Dead, or at least watching a trailer for Left 4 Dead early on, you know, there really wasn't much as far as like CG was going on. It looked pretty much one for one, and apparently that's what it's going to be like. I mean, that looked pretty impressive. I didn't really expect all that much of a graphical jump as far as fidelity is concerned when it came to the new consoles, but some of the stuff was pretty impressive. That's one of the games that I'm thinking that, hey, you know, at least this will somewhat, you know, exemplify what it's supposed to be for next gen, because we're going to get a lot of these like quasi pseudo next gen games that are like on PS3 and Xbox 360. Meanwhile, they're on Xbox One and PS4, but they don't really look like it, you know. But I think this is one of those games that might be, you know, that real show of power for the next systems.
Or it might be one of those like stupid games that launch at you know, at the start of the console and everybody forgets about it.
But it'll look pretty good.
I'm
Let me just
hoping
tell
that
you
it's
something.
good.
Let me just tell you something. You guys remember Haze?
I do remember it.
Yeah. I remember of it, but I don't remember anything about it afterwards.
Exactly.
Which is your point exactly. Mad Max? What? I didn't see anything really about this other than there is going to be a Mad Max video game.
So apparently I was listening to another interview on it. I guess you're not using the same car as the original Mad Max, I guess. But you still have, like, I guess, some kind of hook shot, some kind of harpoon that you hook onto other cars as you're driving through. You knock off parts of the vehicles, and I guess physics rolls into it. So, like, if you pull off the wheels and it flies into the air, you know, the car spins out. Or if you pull off, like, parts of the armor, you can start shooting at the guys. But yeah, I guess that's what it is. Part car, you know, fighting with this crazy hookshot mechanic and physics rolled into it that you build on. And then there's, I guess, like kind of third-person Grand Theft Auto style fighting too. I don't really know. It sounds kind of interesting. I need to see more of it though.
Yeah, a lot of these I do need to see more before I actually care about it. You know?
I hate to say this, by the way, but I saw everybody look at that trailer thinking, "Oh my God, it's Fallout 4."
Well, I mean, It's made by the Just Cause guys, I think. I mean, did you like Just Cause? Because apparently it's that, but just real gritty.
It's just
More like
cause
real
with,
shitty.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm wondering if it's going to be another like the Warriors for the PS2. Do you guys remember that?
I do.
I remember it, and I remember it being bad.
It just no one cared about it. And then there was the God, it was just no. I don't know.
Here. Before we go on, first things first. Price wise, what is it? $3.99 versus $4.99?
Yeah. Do you want to know what the difference is?
Go for it. Yeah, go
Do
ahead.
you remember how much the Kinect was on launch?
Some $200 maybe?
It was around $100.
Oh wow.
The new Kinect is what brings that price up. I swear to God. And I knew it was going to be more. I knew it was going to be more before they
I was
even.
expecting maybe $50 to be perfectly honest.
Nah,
if not
I
the
knew
same.
I knew it was going to be more because the technology between the two is not different enough that there's going to be a huge difference in price.
You know what I
the
want?
only thing that it can be is the Kinect adding that price on.
You know what I want? I want my consoles to be more like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I want my console to tell me, I can't let you do that, Dave. Because let me tell you something, it's so fucking creepy that there's a camera on that thing, and it's always watching. It would have been okay.
Voice chat too. There's no headsets on the Xbox 360 out of the box.
It would have been great.
No controller either.
If you can't have it offline, but I have a serious phobia of like technology monitoring me.
Yeah.
Germany
Because,
has a fucking serious problem with that shit. I'm curious to see how it rolls into those areas where
what?
has literally legislature against it.
There was Germany actually, I forget, it was some legislator from Germany said it was like the most evil, corrupt thing he'd ever seen. That's Germany!
Well, that's...
Germany said that!
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but what?
Fucking Germany!
You fucked up! I don't even know. That's some Orwellian shit, especially with this PRISM thing, but I'm not going to go off on a political rant, but...
The last thing I'd like to say is, I don't know if you guys recall seeing the E3 when the PS3 and the Xbox 360 launched. The kind of hubris that Sony, exhibited at that time was like, hey, $5.99, you guys, this system is so good, you'd get a second job for it. That's the feeling I'm getting from the Xbox One now. I mean, it's
Here's some fun trivia, by the way. Did you know that the original Xbox 360 was initially given out to students for picking PCs, laptops instead of Macs?
Oh yeah, no.
And they later claimed those were sales, and really scummy work. But that seems to be a common thing for Microsoft these days, to be extremely, awful scumbags. So I guess tradition carries on.
Nintendo did not have a conference. They decided... Now, this was actually kind of cool, except for us that are here. What they decided to do was, they were like, we're going to do a direct. We're going to have everything set up, come in, play stuff. That's cool, because then it's like, you can talk about how cool a game is all you want, but if you don't, let us play it, I don't know. So... From what it looks like, a lot of these things look really good. They didn't have... I don't think they had Smash Bros. Available. But they did have a lot of the other stuff. That's cool. I like that. That was a very cool move by Nintendo. Nintendo, again, won the last console war. Technically speaking, sold more than either of the two consoles. Because they decided not to fight. They decided to go a completely different route in trying to deal with it. And that was the way to success, because they didn't have to worry about it. People would buy, because it was a choice between either a 360 or a PS3, and then you got a Nintendo as well. There wasn't a debate about that. It was just a completely different thing. So you got it for those things.
It up and not actually have anything to play. I mean, I think that was the story for a lot of people, but the fact is, you still picked it up because it was just so damn cheap, and it's just like you have these, classic franchises everyone loves. That's really their main draw. I don't know how long they can push it, but I mean, they're still really good at marketing that stuff.
I
think they could push it forever, because in comparison to the other stuff, again, it's the least expensive, and it's what I like to hear. I like to hear, hey,
I'd rather have the same old shit. Rather have the same old shit than Haze. All right, new franchises that go nowhere. So
So
Yeah,
we've got
I mean,
Mario
it's
Kart
undeniable.
8 as far as new things continuing. We got Super Smash Bros. So the Villager and the Wii Fit Girl. Wii Fit Girl is a weird choice.
It is. But
Villager is a
there's
weird
the
choice,
jokes.
but kind of predictable.
You know what I wanted?
What?
King K. Rool and Ridley would have been amazing. I want more fucking big characters.
Yeah, that would have been a good choice.
I hear they have 18 characters on the full roster, so I think they had some 12 so far. So I think there's 6 still remaining. I'm not too sure on the count, but I mean,
They're still waiting to release names.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm liking it so far. The fact that it's on 3DS is kind of weird for me too. I don't personally have a 3DS, but you know, as time goes on more and more, it gets more and more appealing. I mean, I'm never big on like handhelds, but not, you know, Nintendo really kills it for handhelds. I'm surprised they haven't just, you know, gone whole hog and just dropped the consoles and picked up handhelds exclusively almost.
I
I'm
mean,
glad they haven't. I don't really prefer handhelds over a console, but I don't really prefer consoles that much at all anymore. I'd rather play everything in a PC.
for the main reason, I'm not gonna get any of these, and I'm not gonna get any. I've seen a lot of cool games come out for the 3DS, but I can't stream with it unless if I want to shell out money, like Vinny
Yeah,
did.
Vinny. Yeah.
So I mean, it's just sort of like I'm not gonna get one. It's not. I don't have time to play video games, not on stream for the most part. I got
You know,
other stuff I got to
think-
do.
I think that's part of the reason why Nintendo's so big, though. I mean, there's a lot of people who grew up with these franchises, Mario, Zelda, you know, Metroid, and a lot of people don't really have that much time. Unfortunately, that's one of the reasons why I can't really stream all that often is, you know, I'm pressed for time. When I do stream, I'm fucking tired, or I just, you know, can only stream for maybe an hour. The fact that they have all these great franchises available, you know, right there on a handheld that you can take with you whenever you are, I think that's part of the strategy too. At least that's what I see in the future, where they really go and push really hard. I mean, it's great. They're selling gangbusters on those goddamn 3DSs, and I don't foresee it stopping anytime soon.
I mean, Nintendo is taking a smart route for sure. They're just. I like the direction they're going. I didn't really see much of the Nintendo Direct just because it wasn't as covered as well.
Yeah.
Mario Kart is Mario Kart. It has some new stuff, but I mean, it's Mario Kart 8. If you don't know what's going on with Mario Kart by this point, I don't know what to tell you.
I
Super
think that's the
Mario
story of
World.
most of them.
The best thing about Super Mario World was Shiggy acting like a cat. That was hilarious and adorable.
Vinny fucking hated that.
I thought that was hilarious. It was-
It's great.
You know what
right?
I missed?
What?
You know what I missed?
Mhm.
You guys remember when the Wii was initially announced and they had that guy play the drums on Wii Music?
Yeah.
And he spazzed the fuck out? I wanted more shit like that. I wanted. What was that? Oh, I think his name was Ravi or something like that.
Yeah.
And when he played the drums, he fucking wigged out. I wanted more of that guy, Dad, but it would have been a good selling point. Ravi spazzed out on stage.
Yeah. There's
I
a
think
new.
it's more of a matter of like Nintendo just backing off from this big console one-on-one fight between Sony and Microsoft.
It worked with the
that's
Wii.
that
They
fight.
should probably keep it with the Wii U. Because the
Yeah,
thing
I mean-
is, they're going to win. They're winning
Yeah,
a
they're
fight
doing
they're
their own
not
game.
in.
So long as they play their own game by their own rules, they're good to go, man.
And Ubisoft has, before the Xbox One was announced, Ubisoft, literally the day before, came out and said, we're still backing Nintendo. EA came back and said, we're dusting off our developer consoles. So we might actually see some stuff from them. I think it
Yeah.
may be just that EA realized that, oh god, everything else is sinking. Nintendo might win this just for pure not being as bad as everyone
I don't think
else.
it's a matter of them winning. It's just a matter of them just kind of floating along as they've always done.
Yeah, so that
If
works.
you remember, yeah, way back in the
Whoever
Sega
wins, we lose.
era. Yeah, I mean, we're looking at Xbox One as almost another Dreamcast or a Saturn, where it's all these crazy fucking promises are being made of these great.
Hey, don't you fucking
Hardware.
dare. Study, don't you fucking dare compare
No,
it.
no, I love my Dreamcast as much as the next guy, but let me tell you about that hardware and about that no copy protection and all this
Yeah.
other nonsense that ended up happening that sunk that deal. I mean, it's
Yeah.
bad. I mean, I want competition. I want another Nintendo to be there for the next generation. If there is, if there even is another next generation, I want there to be a Microsoft. I want there to be a Sony. More competition just inspires these these developers to like bring out their A game. I mean, you don't want just one company being there. That's why, I mean, as great as Steam is, you know, there's Origin, which I don't like. There's Uplay, which I don't like. But I mean, you know, if Origin busts out this service, is great, and then you know everyone, you know, clamors for Steam to do the same thing, then it probably happens. That's how this works.
Let me tell you something. If all else fails, there's always the Ouya. Hey guys, want to go to my apartment, have a few beers, and you know, play some Ouya?
So
New Donkey Kong, new Zelda.
New Donkey Kong, Tropical Freeze. Don't know a whole lot about it. Gotta say, when you give it a name like Tropical Freeze, I'm gonna think that it's all ice levels and.
I'll be right back. 1 sec.
No. You know, Legend of Zelda. That was more or less they just confirmed what the name was. We already knew it was coming out. No problems there. That's a good choice.
Did they show anything at all? They just confirmed the name of it?
I think they basically just confirmed the name. They showed a little bit more, I think, but not enough that, you know.
You'd get excited about it.
If you're not already excited, then...
Well, I mean, I'm waiting for the moment, the Nintendo E3 moment. You remember when they initially showed Twilight Princess? Do you remember how excited everyone was? People shit their pants when they saw the E3 preview of Twilight Princess.
By the way, in that video, there's a guy when Miyamoto goes on stage, he goes, "Who's the man? Who's the man?" Because that's fucking it. That was it, man. When fucking Miyamoto appeared, so much hype. And I think honestly,
when he appeared with the sword and the shield.
Holy shit! By the way, speaking about that, the same kind of reaction kind of happened when Sony revealed no DRM. It was so great. Yeah. So many people cheering, so much enthusiasm because it felt like
that was haunting. That was so weird. Here's what happened when they announced that. Literally, I think this is the first time it's ever happened. People started chanting the name of the company.
Oh my god!
It was that much of a victory for Sony. It was insane. What were you doing, Microsoft? But let's, I guess, keep on track. So going on to EA, we've already talked about, you know, Plants vs. Zombies and Peggle. Oh, God.
Do we even need to go over EA? Because, I mean, it's EA.
Titan, there's Madden. Mirror's Edge, there's Reboot. I think there's not a whole lot to be said there. Ubisoft, let's move on. Tom
New
Clancy's... new Rayman, yeah.
Yay, I like Rayman.
I believe there's a new Rayman, yeah. Yeah, new Rayman. It's Rayman Legends. It's for the PS3, Vita, Wii U, and 360 because Xbox One hates fun.
I'm kind of excited for that.
Sorry, I got another drink. So.
Of course you did. Watch Dogs, we already knew about it. We just saw more video of it. I want that game.
Can I say something about Ubisoft as far as like that camera pan out and showing this entire world they've created? They really seem to like that little effect.
Yeah, they do. They really do. I don't know.
It was The Division. Did we already talk about The Division?
We haven't talked about The Division.
Jesus Christ, I love that game. I mean, I want to play that game so bad. Of all the actual things shown, that was probably one of the ones that got me the most excited aside from Witcher.
See, I didn't see the Ubisoft one, so I can't really...
You didn't see it? I mean, if you didn't, it's worth a look at. I mean, they're one of those developers who really comes forward before anything is really announced and tries to push those boundaries. I mean, if you want an example of what the next-gen consoles can really do, I think they're one of the best ones. I mean, I don't know, I don't want to say they've won. I don't think anyone really won at the end of this. I mean, as much as Sony did well. But Ubisoft definitely brought that A game. I mean, The Division looks like essentially, you know, a cross between DayZ and I guess like kind of Borderlands-ish, because you have all these, I guess, dynamic events that happen throughout the world. And meanwhile, at the same time, you have all your friends there together in this third-person shooter.
And is it
where
open
you can
world?
go through, yeah, I mean, you go through, you do this event, and you run into other people. It's great.
I think I could be down for that, yeah.
It sounds cool.
Yeah. Let's see, what is this all for? Is everyone else gone? Okay, no, it's just Skype is weird. Okay, sorry about that.
No, we're still good.
So, okay, yeah, I could be down for that. It's for the PS4 and the Xbox One, though. And I don't really want to buy either, so I'm sorry.
I'm looking forward to maybe the PS4. I was thinking of pre-ordering, but I don't know. I want to hold off for a bit.
I never pre-order anything because
we actually did a sort of aftermath after E3. Vinny hosted this, and he had people call in. But I said this: people are scared of being left out. Consumers are scared of it because it's like you got to pick poison here. It's either the PS4, Xbox, the Wii. That's it. And it's like, even though they all suck, it's like people are afraid that if they don't pick it, they're gonna be like outcasts. Cause like, you don't like video games? It's just like, no, I like video games. I just don't like this shit. But I think, as I said, I'm gonna stick to PC.
I think PC is fine. I think that's another option in that. And I think that's a valid choice. All things considered.
When Vinny called me for that thing, when just our one-on-one deals, the first thing I asked him was, how strong is your PC, or where is your PC now? I think that's one of the main things that's going to drive this next gen,
right?
Because we've had this long last gen that was almost 10 years now, and the PC got to grow. I mean, in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. You had all these. Go ahead.
Here's the deal with that. There's a couple of good things that are really good news as far as both the consoles go, even if you're not a console gamer. First of all, it's an update in technology, which means that it's going to push the quality of games, the graphical fidelity, and the length and all of that. It's going to be pushed up, which means that will be transferred over when they port it. In addition, it's made with a very similar architect to like a computer, which means that ports to and from a PC will actually probably increase. Like, the quality will be good or better. It'll be easier, theoretically anyway. So eventually when these things come to you, they're going to be decent if you want to wait, which I will, because I'm not getting either of those,
Yeah.
But no, I mean, that's a good point, though. Like I said, PC is eventually going to hit this point. Well, I think it already has hit this point where if it hasn't hit mainstream appeal, I mean, it's growing more and more. There's a bigger back end on it that's, gaining support. There's a reason why Dark Souls came out on the PC when originally it wasn't even slated for it. Maybe it wasn't, such a great port, but even when it wasn't all that great, there was still these people on the back end, just fans, who were able to create, a better experience that you were able to make on the PC, or sorry, I should say on the consoles. There was The Division actually wasn't originally slated, but apparently Ubisoft is fielding a question saying, hey, PC players, are you into this? Do you want this? And apparently there's enough support saying, yeah, hell, we have DayZ, we have all these other games that are, this big sandbox place. We want a game like it.
Speaking about PC support, there are actually a group of people making one of those petitions for bringing Metal Gear Solid 5 to the PC. Now, I don't know if Konami is going to do that because, last time that they ported, Metal Gear 2 to the PC was like Metal Gear 2, so I have no idea, but if it works, then great.
Yeah.
But I doubt
they were
it.
saying Kojima specifically stated that he wants to eventually, it's kind of like saying, yeah, we want it on PC. I don't know if it's the first thing he's gonna do, but eventually it's coming to PC. So it's kind of like a confirmed at a distance. It's confirmed eventually.
So yeah, I mean, I guess those are the huge announcements. I mean, Dark Souls obviously got me pumped.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it. I need to finish Dark Souls 1. That's how much I'm liking. I know. I should probably do that, but I don't know. I just don't have time. I'm just
gonna say, I'm a huge Dark Souls fan. Dark Souls 2 looks great, and I watched the interview with the creators, and they're actually saying they're not, lowering the difficulty. They recognize that the difficulty is what made the original so good. It drew a lot of people in because it's like, I don't think Dark Souls is that hard, but it was definitely a challenge.
And I think we've talked about this before. It's not that it's hard, it's that you can't be stupid. If you're stupid, you'll die.
Right.
And then again, people are stupid. A casual gamer might have no idea what to do, and they're gonna, perceive the game as impossible. But if you take, your time sitting down or really figure out the patterns of the enemies and the bosses, you can breeze through it.
Yeah, it's pretty
Right,
easy.
it's hard in the way that Monster Hunter is hard, where initially when you start, oh man, like all these monsters are just completely messing me up. But once you actually get their patterns down, once you have it all down to almost muscle memory, you're gonna go.
Yeah, and once you understand how the game works, that maybe you shouldn't round that corner at a full run. You know, there's probably a guy on the side of that, and he's gonna stab you. You know, that's fine with me. I like that. It was hard in the beginning, but I got the flow of the game, and now I'm breezing through it relatively. I get lost. I can't figure out where the hell I'm supposed to go, but other than that, it's pretty all right. It's one of my favorite games, I think.
What I like most about Dark Souls and Demon Souls, all those is for a long time we've had these hand-holdy kind of games that have come out, and we've gotten really used to that kind of way. I mean, you have Call of Duty's first-person shooters, all this other nonsense, and you have tutorials abound, and you have all these second chances, third chances to actually finish the game, when normally before you'd have all these arcade-style games where it's supposed to eat up your quarters, eat up your lives, you're supposed to lose, and yet we have Dark Souls and Demon Souls come out, and while some people jump on it saying it's not as hard as possible, I mean it's still it starts to buck the trend, so more and more developers start looking at this going, hey, maybe there are some people that really like these style of games, maybe we should make some more of these kinds of games, even if it's not exactly like Dark Souls or Demon Souls. You can start getting some more different style games.
I don't know if that's going to be a thing, just because, like I said, they need to hold your interest for a month. And if you don't have just everything that Dark Souls is, it's not just the difficulty, it's so much more. Because the difficulty is good, it's interesting, but that did scare some people away. And that means that they sold that game, which means that they maybe didn't get as many sales as they could have. You also have to have other stuff. So if you just make a hard game, people are going to drop it. It has to be good. It has to be interesting to play. The story of Dark Souls is interesting, and that's what keeps
what I mean. I always want to say this, but Dark Souls 2 is kind of rare because the Souls series has always been their own story. Demon Souls, their own setting. Dark Souls, their own setting. And Dark Souls was, the spiritual successor. But Dark Souls 2 is officially the direct sequel to Dark Souls. Now, I don't know where it takes place, a prequel or after, the Age of Fire or whatever, but
it's like Xenogears to Xeno Saga, It's that same kind of world, just, you're used to what the world is.
But what I absolutely loved about Dark Souls was the fact that they actually didn't explain the plot.
I love that.
You had to do your own research. If you look at items and stuff, you can figure out stuff. But if you just run through everything, just hack and slash just every enemy, you're not going to figure out shit. You really got to stand around, figure out what's going on, and really immerse yourself in this very, very, fantasy world that's, I think, is one of the best fantasy worlds in a video game. I think a game like Skyrim, great, but... I
don't care about any of the characters in Skyrim. I played it until after the dragon tutorial thing, and I dropped it. I could not finish it. I couldn't even get past that point. I mean, I beat it, but I was just like, I don't want to play this anymore.
Like I said, I mean, that's kind of the trend. I mean, if you look at, what was it, Dragon Age 1 versus Dragon Age 2, you look at, everyone thinks it's a debacle. Like, what the fuck did they do between 1 and 2? You had Baldur's Gate almost in next gen, and then you had God knows what the fuck this was in part 2. But, I mean... that's pretty much what RPGs are now, or at least what they were. And then you have Dark Souls, Demon Souls coming in and just completely flipping the shit. Like, what is this game? It's hard as hell. I can't beat it in my first run. They're not holding my hand. They're not telling me the story. But, I mean, a lot of people gravitate towards that specifically because it's not what we've been, kind of like trained to expect.
But, yeah... I don't know. I guess we should round it out with. Is there anything else you guys want to say here as far as one thing I gotta say. Okay, Deus Ex 1, great. Deus Ex 2, pretty bad. Deus Ex 3, they're getting back in form. Deus Ex 4 is coming out. This is gonna be awesome. Are you ready for the fall? It's mobile exclusive. What are you doing? Is it just going to be even number ones are going to be bad? What is
I actually want to speak to this point specifically.
Okay.
like Study Girl over here really likes Legacy of Kain series. Yeah, you love Legacy of Kain. I like Legacy of Kain. I like Soul Reaver and all these other games. And it kind of like, you know, draws comparisons to Deus Ex because everybody loves these old classic style games, or at least loves the old versions of the series. And then you hear this new version coming out. There's another Legacy of Kain game, or at least in that same story, that same setting. It's called Nosgoth. We don't actually know what it is, but everyone's going, oh man, this is going to be terrible. And there's reasons for it. You know, you can't just look at it through rose-tinted glasses. I mean, the writer for it is actually at Naughty Dog, or at least the original writers for Legacy of Kain. Crystal Dynamics, the people behind it, aren't behind it anymore because, first of all, back in like 03 was the last time the last Legacy of Kain game came out. And, you know, they've had a number of changes in 09. They were completely reformed. And then again, when, you know, SE acquired them, they're under Square Enix now, much like Deus Ex is. And then you have like Tony J, which is the voice for the old god, you know, the big guy in the Soul Reaver series. He's dead now, actually. So you have all these changes, this magnitude of things that happened between the last time that you loved this series and now. Same thing that happened in the Deus Ex series. But look at what they did with Deus Ex Human Revolution. It was a great game. I liked it.
It was it was a little bit different, but it was okay. It was better than I was expecting it to be.
Definitely,
but it's going to be on a mobile, and it's going to be a third-person shooter. How do you do that?
Yeah.
But I don't have any faith that that's going to be anything more than just shovelware.
Here's the
I just want to say this, but Thief 4 looks like ass.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but wow. It's a new studio, obviously, and wow, they really fucking it up. I think Thief 4 looks like just as bad as the new Devil May Cry or Tomb Raider. I hate these like reboots that just soil the prior games.
See, I'm not so critical on them because, like I said, I mean, you've had all these, you know, developers who have been long-standing franchises, or at least they've been linked with these long-standing franchises. They're not the same anymore. You can't look at it as if, hey, Square Enix of like 1995 is the same one as Square Enix of 2013. There's different experiences, different teams, different people behind it. You can't expect the same experience back then, but it doesn't mean it's going to be a shittier experience. Heck, you know, Final Fantasy 15 looks amazing. At least I think it does. It's an action RPG now, or at least that's what it looks like. But it looks cool. I want to play that. It's definitely not turn-based, you know, ATV battles, but I'd definitely still play that. Doesn't mean it's worse. I think it looks cool. But again, it's different, you know, different developers. At least same, I should say, same developer, new experiences.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm really drunk.
It's good, man. X looks good. There's not a whole lot on it, but it's for Wii U. I mean, X looks interesting. I don't know what I think about it. It's a sort of Monster Hunter-esque looking thing. I think, unless if you guys have anything else to say, I want to point out one thing.
Go ahead.
Okay. Number of exclusives for each of the three major consoles. We're talking Wii U, Xbox One, and the PS4.
Can we mention the one PS2?
Yeah, what the fuck? What is this?
FIFA 14 coming to PS2. You gotta have that PS2 FIFA because
I gotta ask though, because
what is that?
I can't believe that. I think that's so ridiculous because I thought that they stopped with the PS2 entirely back in 2012.
So did I.
But I guess not. I guess there's some like little Portuguese kid just playing like PS2 still, and it's just like Windows FIFA come on. So I guess that's great that the PS2 is still alive, but
it's just I don't know what to think of that. That was just weird. But yeah, okay. So I guess that's a thing. So number of exclusives. The PS4 has 5 exclusive games for it. That's Order 1886. We've got Knack, which I don't think is going to be any good. Infamous. What is this? Drivers Club. And that's it. Okay. Then the Xbox One has 8, which is Sunset Overdrive, which looks like it's going to be one of those.
That's like Suda51 style, like crazy out there kind of games.
It's going to be Haze, you know. I think the Haze.
Yeah, it is going to be like Haze, but honestly, I'll give it a try because the visuals look amazing, and I kind of like the soundtrack. For a metal guy like me, I usually go, pfft, but I don't know, but it kind of fit, and I like the trailer, so who knows?
Okay. And then there's Rise, Son of QTE.
Oh no, I was thinking of D3. I'm sorry, that was a Sunset Overdrive. I apologize.
Oh, that's good. Quantum Break, which we know fuck all about.
Apparently, is that supposed to have a TV show behind it, or was I thinking of Defiance?
I think
that was.
I think it does have a TV show. I don't know what the fuck it is.
There's a lot of those coming out. It's weird.
One of the Xbox One exclusives that was announced is Minecraft.
That's not really.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like saying, hey.
But it's the Xbox One edition, you see.
Hey, they made a bunch of money on that one. Why not push it again?
Yeah, it's
with more stuff. It's.
I gotta ask though, how much money does Notch have now? Dear God.
All of it. Okay, Killer Instinct is going to be an Xbox One exclusive. Halo, of course. What is this? Forza Motorsport, that racing game that must come out with every new generation that I don't care about, and Dead Rising. Those are the ones that Xbox One has. And then the Wii U has 13. Which is Yarn Yoshi, X, Wonderful 101, which I don't really know anything about, Wii Party, Wii Fit U, Super Smash Bros. Super Mario 3D World, which looks okay.
Well, Smash Brothers, sure.
Well, no, because it's on the DS as well. But yeah, exactly. Pikmin 3. New Super Luigi U. I don't know what that is. Mario and Sonic at the 2004 Winter Olympic. I don't care. Legend of Zelda, Wind Waker HD, which was already out.
Bloom Waker.
Bloom Waker. Game and Wario. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, and Bayonetta 2, which confuses me greatly. I don't know how.
Oh man, that is like the biggest travesty. I don't know how they lost that one. That's like Monster Hunter being lost to Sony. I feel sad about that one.
It was basically there wouldn't have been another Bayonetta game had it not been from a Nintendo coming wrong and picking it up.
Good on them.
I think Nintendo really, really wanted to attract some mature audience, and you're not going to get that from any other place other than Bayonetta. That is a good choice.
That's so great. It's like we're gonna prove we're mature. Have some boobs. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, and that's basically what it was. So that makes it 5, 8, and 13.
Yeah.
Number of exclusives. Yeah. So I'm just saying.
Platforms, though.
See, I find that less interesting, because what I'm trying to point out here is what sells consoles is gonna be games. The thing is that the PS4, everyone's ranting and raving about how it won and all that. If it has no games, if no one cares about it, if the games that are on it suck, if you can get the same games otherwise on the Xbox One, gamers have very, very little ability to control themselves. They will go, and even if they were like, I'm going to boycott the Xbox One because blah, 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 they'll still go buy one. They'll buy it within
no doubt.
Within a year, they'll buy it. If the PS4 fails, if the exclusives aren't good enough, it's dead. I'm hoping that all of this bad press for the Xbox One pushes the PS4 up. The Wii U, of course, it's got all of its exclusives mainly because of,
It is what it is.
It's Nintendo. They're going to have exclusives. So, I mean, I don't know about this, man. I'm still a little bit concerned that Xbox One has a chance in this, because exclusives, I mean, Halo, I don't like it, but it's going to sell. It's a big franchise. It's a big franchise, and people are going to buy it.
It's its own damn TV series. That's how big it is.
Yeah, and
right. I mean, it goes back to that. Oh, sorry. It goes back to that thing I said earlier, where Microsoft more than likely paid all these millions of marketers to look at the data. I'm sure there's a number of people who looked at it and said, "Hey, there's this wedge. There's this demographic. God knows who, because I certainly don't know who they're looking at." But they clearly looked at it and said, hey, we can make this cash. We can make this return that we need to make by doing X, Y, and Z. I mean, I don't know who it is, but it's a big enough slice that they said, yeah, we can pull this DRM. We can pull these non-used games deal that we can do. We can do all this and get away with it and still make a number of, deals with all these developers. We can make away with all this cash.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
I think
the
what it is
PS4 has it. It's going back to basics essentially.
yeah.
I think the fact that the Xbox is doing these horrible decisions is honestly gonna push the PS4 to like be better.
Yeah.
I think it's great because like without competition you can't better yourself. And the fact that the Xbox is just being this total garbage shit right now is gonna make the PS4 try to just be better. And in the long run, I think that's great.
Well, I
Because
don't think they're gonna have to
be
try
treated
hard.
better.
I'd like to just mention one thing though.
Okay.
The fact that being able to trade your game
Mhm.
is a takeaway, like a big deal, speaks volumes of where we are right now. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to this digital-only realm where it's just Steam-style gameplay where you have all these licenses you're sold, not an actual disc. I mean, we're getting closer and closer to that point. I mean, by the next gen, I personally, and I mentioned this to Vinny when, we were doing that one-on-one deal after E3, I don't believe there's going to be a next gen in the way we see now, where there's hardware, where there's, all these different, separated exclusives. Multi-platform, I believe, is where it's coming. And it's just kind of like a PC style. I see Gaikai as kind of like that next step in the evolution. Maybe not fully streaming, maybe not, just that style way, but like Steam style platforms where, hey, Microsoft has its own platform. They're moving closer and closer to that point where you have all this DRM, they're locked into that system. The next step is just, hey, introduce a Steam style gameplay where you're locked into the world. You already have all these exclusives. This is it, We're moving to that digital realm.
I think that's very much the case. I disagree that it's going to be in the next generation. I think we could very easily see it this one. But it's coming soon. I think we can agree on that. It's
I
coming.
like to say that I think the DRM shit is one of the problems, but one of the things that really makes me worried is that all this social media shit, the Twitter integration, the Facebook thing. I mean, the PS4 has a share button for fuck's sake, and I think video games. It all dates back to I just want to kind of be left alone when I play video games. I don't want to share with somebody. I mean, that's not like I'm playing like whacking off the Bayonetta, but like when I'm playing Super Mario Brothers, I want to be alone with the controller and like Mario fucking jumping on Goombas. Like I don't want anyone to know.
We're not good examples of it though. I mean, we're streaming these guys almost 24/7 when we play something. I mean, I don't know about you, Yoel, but when I play a game, I actually start streaming it now. I mean, that's kind of my motivation to start playing a game. It's crazy. I didn't think about this 5-10 years ago.
Yeah. I barely play games outside of stream. Honestly,
yeah, it's weird.
I just can't. I don't have time.
Yeah.
And if I'm playing something, I want to be streaming it because I can. And if no one's streaming, then it makes it very hard because sometimes I don't have a game that I can just play by myself when I have nothing else to do. You know?
I mean, the stream has brought so many weird, like, oh man, I have this multiplayer game that I want to play, but I don't have anyone to play it with. Hey, stream's here. I can hook up with them and make this work.
Yeah.
I want to play SWAT 4. Nobody's playing SWAT 4. Who the fuck plays SWAT 4 anymore?
I'd like to elaborate on what I mean. I don't mean that I don't want anyone to like play with like what I'm doing. Like what I'm saying is, I don't like the Facebook thing. Now, if I have friends over, basically what we're doing, we're streaming. And we're doing it in front of friends, basically. It's the same experience. But the share thing is just like the Facebook thing. Like, if I post that I have some achievement to Facebook, who cares? But, whatever, man. But I think I'm just jaded because I think Twitter in itself is kind of stupid. And I think it's a fad that will die out. And I think it's just it's annoying to see on a peaceful control. Because that shit will be around forever, man.
Yeah. I think, why don't we go ahead and start talking about, we did this last time. Let's go ahead and do our games, our little games that no one knows about sort of thing. Who wants to go first on this? I mean, Jen, you have not spoken a lot, like pretty much at all. Jen, are you still alive?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you want to talk about your game that you found?
Sure. Marissa actually linked me this game, and it looks absolutely amazing. It's everything that I could ask for in a game and more since they haven't been making Banjo-Kazooie games. It is, it's a Kickstarter right now for it. It's called The Hat in Time, and it's literally a 3D collectathon platformer. And I love this so much because it kind of has like Wind Waker type graphics, and it has co-op, and they've already met their goals, so they're totally gonna make it. And it's just it's supposed to be just like Banjo-Kazooie, with just a beautiful world to explore and collect things, and I adore that so much. So I'm really excited about this. I already linked it in the chat, so
yeah, I'll make sure to put it in the annotations for the video, or at the bottom in the description. One thing I gotta say though, they're at, as of this time of this recording, it's at $128,339. There are 11 days to go, and if they get 150,000, they can get Grant Kirkhope, the guy who did the music for GoldenEye, Banjo-Kazooie, Donkey Kong 64, Perfect Dark, all that stuff. They're gonna try and get him to do the music for it. So it's still worth doing something for. If you like this idea, go and throw some money at it, and it also probably will need to get greenlit. So
yes.
Make sure if you like the idea, you do both, because this looks cool. I'm not much for collectathons, but I like this. This could be cool.
I think it looks really cool, and if it gets put on Steam, and there's an easy way to do co-op, and Marseille will totally stream it. We'll totally be streaming it. I can guarantee you this right now.
I gotta say it, but that is such a Jen and I'm a co-op game.
Oh, yeah, that is.
It is. It's perfect for us. Like, this game
definitely
is literally being created for us to play.
Yeah.
Yul, do you want to go and go?
Yeah, definitely. Speaking about Kickstarter and things, I have a huge thing for Shadowgate. Now, if you don't know what Shadowgate is, it's this very old NES game that was also released on DOS. It's this, I would say it's a grandfather point-and-click games. And the NES version was actually translated in Swedish back in the day, and that's how I played it. Now, I don't know why they favored Sweden so much, but they did, and I found so much love for it. Now, I've streamed Shadowgate on stream, and I did the whole, Space Reaper thing, but yeah, Shadowgate is really good. It doesn't have a lot of graphics, but it instead replaces it with a lot of reading, and I love the gory deaths that it describes. Like, you can get clubbed to death, you can melt in acid and shit, but the good thing about it is they're making a remake. Now, the remake on Kickstarter is actually already funded, but I chipped in, my name is in the credits, and I got a whole lot of stuff for it. I got a poster, a shirt, all that good stuff, and I think they're doing a great job so far. It's a HD remake, completely new music, new areas, all that stuff, and Shadowgate is, I would say, is the grandfather of point-and-click games. Now, I might be entirely wrong about this, and I'm sure I am, but it's the first I know of that I played. And yeah, Shadowgate is very cryptic. Let me tell you something, because it's like you got to put this thing in a globe. You got to put stuff under the floors to get ahead. But back in the day, you had to just try every combination. It's a little easier nowadays, but Shadowgate is definitely one of my favorite games, and I'm so glad that they actually decided to remake it. It's the original people behind the NES version, and they actually even got people that did the music or inspired to do it to make music for the new one. So it's really cool, and I'm so surprised because I started streaming it back in 2011, and just now they decided to do it. So it's really cool, and I am so glad that they actually funded it. And I don't know when they release it, but you bet your ass I'm going to do it on stream when it's finally out.
Yeah. And does it need to be greenlit or anything like that?
I don't know if it's coming to Steam, but I ripped on the Ouya before, but I think it's coming to the Ouya, but it's coming to, I think, the iPad, PC, and mobile, I think, too. And yeah, I'm not really that invested in what platforms it's on, but honestly, I think it can definitely come to Steam too if enough people want it, because $150 people donated to it. And I think that's definitely enough to show interest. So yeah,
$150 or $150,000?
$150,000. I mean,
okay,
yeah, it's not that shitty.
I was gonna say, like, you say you donated $100. That means that like one other person gave a shit.
Jesus.
It's made in paint. It's a slideshow.
But yeah, all right. Well, that should be cool. I was never really much of a fan of that kind of thing, but honestly,
Yeah.
like it's good to see old good games like that come
Yeah.
back. And they're
Yeah.
not. It doesn't sound like they're gonna fuck it up. It sounds like they're just gonna try and keep it true to the original.
Yeah,
Just make it look
I've seen
shinier.
previews of it. Music sounds amazing. I actually got the soundtrack for it a while ago.
Hmm.
Sounds amazing. And the again, Shadowgate was never big on on gameplay, as I said, but it's more of an immersive reading experience. And
Hmm.
from what I've seen, the backgrounds look gorgeous. It's all hand painted, and
Wow.
yeah, it's really looking out to be a great point and click game. And I think nowadays we don't have enough of these. I really don't think so. I think in general the point and click adventure games are just a totally dead genre.
Hmm.
But I'm glad games like Gemini Rue, you got that. I know another one, Macarium. What is that?
Machinarium or whatever it was called. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad there's a resurgent of these games. Sam and Max, for example, great that they're also doing that. And yeah, I'm glad it's a genre that's kind of returning.
Hmm.
And yeah, Shadowgate really pumped for it, and I can't wait to stream it.
Very cool. And then study. Do you want to go ahead and go with yours?
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess I'd like to plug in Inquisitor. I mean, it's already been released actually on Good Old Games, but I think it was greenlit on Steam almost what was it, like 2 or 3 months ago.
Hmm.
I want to say maybe it was last year, but I'm not too sure. But anyways, it's a CRPG.
Oh, okay.
Kind of in the vein of like Baldur's Gate, and I don't know. It's just something about those types of games that are real text heavy. I don't know if you played, again, like I said, Baldur's Gate.
I played like Pulse
Or
of Radiance. It was,
Okay, cool. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
the point is, like, you have all these choices when you get into the game. You start out in the initial deal with, like,
It's more about having a party rather than just single guy. It's more about the conversations
right,
you fight, but
right. So
yeah.
it's not so big on. I mean, the battle system is pretty shitty, but that's not what you get into these games for. You get into these games for this immersive world that you wouldn't experience otherwise. I mean, you have all these next gen kind of style games, Mass Effect, where you're, or Dragon Age 2, where it's just like kind of like a one sentence reply to everything. But no, you have these almost paragraph deals where it comes to the replies on this one, 5 or 6 of them for that matter. You have this expansive story that you wouldn't get in games nowadays. I like to think that those kinds of games still have a place. You have games like Project Eternity that's getting kickstarted now. I think Wasteland 2 is close, more or less close to that style game. But yeah, I mean, I played through a good part of it. I haven't actually finished it because that game is mad long. I'm like 60 hours into it now. It's a little slow, but if you're like into those kinds of games, I think it's worth a shot.
I think I'll round us out with yet another game that's of a genre that isn't really being seen much of. Because I mean, we talked about, was it a collectathon puzzle platformer, a point and click, and then a CRPG. These are just things that just don't get seen very often. I'm gonna point out a couple just because of how I came upon them. So Mojang, not really an indie company anymore, I would say. That's like
They're close as you can get to like a AAA indie
yeah,
company. It's crazy.
AAA indie company. That's a good way of pointing it out. They actually came out with their new game. It's in beta. It's $20 right now. It's a collectible card game sort of thing. It's on the computer. The art actually looks good, which is surprising. Its business model looks fairly nice. It's instead of just being a normal like TCG, it's also got this hexagon grid battle system. There's like 3 ranks and then 5 rows on both sides, and you try and take out the statues that are in the back row. It looks actually pretty cool. If you liked stuff like Magic, that would be pretty cool. But because it was $20 and I don't really want to spend money right now, I revisited this game that I found out about actually slightly before I went to go up to New York, and it's called what is it? Shadow Era. I want to make sure I'm getting that right. Yeah, Shadow Era. They recently actually came out with an expansion for it. It's free. It's on iOS. It's on Android, and it's on the computer. It's mostly free. You don't actually need to buy anything. It has pay cash, but you get some of it anytime you level up in the game, which you level up for basically trying to win.
As long as it's not pay to win.
It's not pay to win for any respect. I kick people's asses on that all the time. The cool thing is, it's the same account on your computer as it is on your phone. So if you like card games, you can just go and play a card game with someone online. It's very simplistic. It's very straightforward. If you liked Magic, it's that kind of thing. I like it a lot. I've been playing it a lot recently. Just because it's a game I can't really stream. I have streamed the old version. The new cards are pretty interesting. Like I said, it's free in every form. It's Shadow Era. I like it. If you like that kind of thing, go check it out, because like I said. But yeah, it's so much fun. The matchmaking system, you can go through and try and find someone on a list, or you can just hit Quick Game, and it'll just randomly assign you to someone. Which works for me. It's got an offline sort of game mode that you can play where you fight AI that's fairly competent. I don't know. Fairly. I mean, like, they'll beat you. I mean, like, they don't make horrible moves. They make legitimate plays that kick your ass. But yeah.
By the way, totally unrelated story, but I wasn't telling this. But my dad used to be an old PC gamer, and it's pretty funny, but he still to this day plays Age of Empires 2. He loves that game, but he has never, ever beaten a match against a bot. Ever. And he, like 12 years, he has never done it. He still plays it.
Well, yeah. And I think we definitely run long.
Maybe a bit.
So, like I said, we were going to try and we failed. But it's okay. I think we got to everything. This is maybe a little bit more chaotic than the first one, but it's whatever. We got through everything, I think. So that was E3. We talked about the console stuff. We talked about our 4 games that you should probably check out. There are going to be links to all of these, if I can get them, down in the bottom of this video. I'm going to try and upload this to stuff that isn't YouTube this time. If you have recommendations on places where I can do that, please comment and let me know where, because I don't know where the hell I can do this other than like iTunes, and that just gets a grimace from everyone. Anyway, again, Kami ended up doing the music that you heard in the intro and the outro here in a second. I just want to thank you guys for joining me for the second one. And
I want to apologize because I'm really fucking hammered.
It's okay, Study. It's okay. It's okay, because you know what? I would be hammered too if I had to listen to all this awful video game talk.
I enjoyed talking to you, y'all, an extended period, and Rev, and Jen.
I love you, Study, but what the hell are you doing?
I said this earlier, but Study's kind of the guy that when you play video games, your friend comes over at like 11 in the morning. He comes with a fucking half vodka bottle. He's like, "You like video games?" And you're like, "Oh god, not this fucking guy again."
It was literally like I mentioned. I had vodka for most of the week. I was like, "Oh man, I'm out of the vodka. What do I do now? I have this rum." Okay.
Just A+, dude. Anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Please let us know what we can do better, because this is new for us, and we still don't know what the hell we're doing. But anyway, thank you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Study. Thank you, Yol. Thank you, Jen. This was cool.
Yeah, thanks, movies. Sorry we didn't interact with you guys all that much, but it's mainly just audio we're looking at. Sorry, guys.
Exactly. Anyway, thank y'all, and we'll see you next time, I guess.
Take care.
Bye.
See ya.